Amici carissimi, proseguiamo con Her Story. Abbiamo ancora un bel po' di parole da cercare, alcune le ho scritte più che altro perché ho detto che vediamo se può sbucare qualcosa, ma tipo, appunto ingredienti, ma non mi dice niente. Finocchi mi aveva un attimo colpito, quindi non c'era nulla, ok. Lavoro secondo me qualcosina la si trova, esatto, 2 video mancano.
Mobile phone?
Cellulare.
Yeah.
Forse ho scritto...
Well, they have one for the glaziers, but it's only for work. I can't remember the number. Oh, it's in the kitchen. I saw it plugged into its charging cradle.
ok.
No. I'm not sure what Strange would be, but he hasn't been acting odd. He's been busy at work, but nothing too stressful.
Ok. Per qualche motivo avevo scritto parrucca. Non mi aspettavo.
A wig? You mean... But what type of wig?
Ok.
No, I've never worn a wig. What kind of wig? This other person doesn't exist. I don't know what the blonde wig is, but it could be anything. Have you looked at the cat flap?
Bionda gattaiola. Forse sto sbagliando approccio, cioè dovrei... Aspetta.
The parents decided there would be a wedding. And after the wedding, Hannah moved in with his parents. There was no way I could follow. So we were separated again. I stayed in the attic. It was hard. It's like I suddenly didn't exist. I would sneak out, but in case anyone recognized me, I started wearing a wig. Hannah and I would meet up in the park. I was trying to get pregnant. But I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't do it with anyone we knew, so it was sex with strangers. Drunk guys I'd met in clubs, in parks and alleyways. I was 17. It felt like I was being punished. But it was Hannah who had betrayed us. I had to stop when one of the guys gave me an STD.
MST.
When we met up, it was disturbing. For the first time, my reflection, she didn't look like me. She was fatter, flushed. If anything, I was getting skinnier. I found it hard to look sometimes. We talked about what to do. Was it time to become our own people? I mean, that seemed like the right thing to do, but neither of us wanted it. We agreed that her and Simon would get their own place as soon as possible, and then I could move in. And that was the plan.
Ok, è stato più interessante di quanto mi aspettassi. Anche qui mi immagino di trovare qualcosa.
I got pregnant. Both our parents had a big powwow. We weren't even in the room. And they decided we should get married.
Romantico. Il matrimonio l'ho già cercato, vero? Perché... No, non l'ho cercato, non l'ho nemmeno scritto. Impossibile. Non l'ho scritto.
I guess you could call it that, but we were both happy to get married.
Tanto io non ho acceso questo. Ok.
We had our first dance to come back and stay. I'm not sure if that's a good wedding song, but I loved it. I chose it. I mean, it was genuinely our first dance. We'd never danced together before. It was probably awful to watch, but I enjoyed it. It felt like it was just me and Simon for that moment. Just the two of us. So, our sex life is probably fairly average for a couple after 10 years of marriage.
Ok. Tipo, non ballo, ho sbagliato. Oh Gesù. Ok, me ne dà solo uno. Qui ne manca uno.
I think it was that time, the first time at the house, in his bed, that I got pregnant. Amazing, right? This fucking magic sperm. And they say lightning doesn't strike twice. I didn't tell him. I missed 3 periods. I had pretty irregular periods anyway, but 3. I had always thought we were infertile. Both of us. I didn't tell him. Just waited. Hannah and I were meeting for our birthday, and I told her because I thought she would be happy for us both. I think she was.
Questa ce l'ho più tardi, però... Fuck, ne volevo uno più recente.
Yes, that's my birthday. Not one of the big ones, but I guess you can see that.
Ok.
No. Well, yes. He found out on my birthday. I told him I was pregnant.
Ok.
Well, a week or so ago. It would have been the Saturday before my birthday. You know, I get like that on the weekends, have a lie-in, then want to get up and blitz the house.
Non quello in cui speravo, onestamente. Non proprio.
Okay. I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I had to park down the end of the road. Walked up, knocked on the door, no answer. I took my keys out of my bag and unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. You can tell because the key doesn't turn when you try to turn it to the left. I walked in, Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes in the shoe rack. I shouted out. I walked straight into the kitchen because he usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper, but he wasn't there. I touched the kettle, it was cold. I looked quickly in the living room, nothing. So I walked upstairs to the bedroom and he wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. I had a shower. The phone rang whilst I was in the shower. I didn't answer it. I think it was Eric. Then I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, though I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. This time I spoke to him. Then I called Doug and Eleanor.
Che cazzo sono questi?
And I decided to come and see you. Don't know.
Doug e Eleanor, chi sono?
Okay. I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I parked down the end of the road.
Ok, questo è quello che lei ha fatto durante... cioè...
No answer.
La notte?
I took my keys out of my bag, unlocked the
No.
door. The main lock was unlocked. I could tell because the key wouldn't turn when I tried to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg.
Ah no, ok, questo è quando è tornata.
I shouted out for him. I walked straight into the kitchen. He usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper.
Ok, l'ho detto...
I I touched the kettle, it was cold. I looked quickly into the living room, nothing. I walked upstairs to the bedroom, he wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there.
Avevo...
And
No, non è
then
la
I
stessa
had a
clip.
shower. Whilst I was in the shower, the phone rang. I think it was Eric, his boss. I didn't answer it. Then I came out and I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, but I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. I spoke to him. Then I called Simon's parents. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough?
Ok. Quindi sappiamo che Doug e Eleanor sono i genitori di Simon. Ok. Allora, mi sto facendo un quadro generale. Credo che... Allora, non credo abbia una fine. Ok, cioè... mi immagino... cioè, nel senso, avrà una fine, per carità, Però ecco, immagino che praticamente tutto consista semplicemente nel cercare qui e basta. E nel farci una nostra idea, nel cercare di capire chi è Anna, chi è Eve e tutta questa gente. Quindi adesso cerchiamo le altre parole che non sto scrivendo. Vediamo.
I remember the ticket, of course. I paid it without telling Simon. Didn't want to get told off. And they put points on the license.
Quale multa? Quale multa? Mi dica un po', signorina.
Differences? She's a better driver than me. She passed the test for us. I tried to take it and nearly crashed the car. Learned that you can't rely on confidence to get you through everything. She is the shy one. She was especially shy around boys. If Hannah liked a boy, I would have to pursue him. It was that way with Carl.
E chi cazzo è Carl?
She had such a crush. I let him take my virginity after a night that his band had played at. It got difficult. When I was with Carl, we would have sex, but Hannah couldn't let him see she was a virgin. She had lots of excuses. After a while, we decided that I should take Hannah's virginity. It's not that different to a bruise, pulling a tooth, a graze. We used a hairbrush. After that, we took it in turns, though. I was always the one who seduced the boys. Until Simon.
Ok. Non è proprio quello che mi aspettavo, cercando patente. Però...
Asked the hospital.
Ok.
I don't see how it's hard. We've established I was in Glasgow when he was killed. You've spoken with the hospital.
Ok, mi aspettavo altro. Qui c'è altro? No? Non so perché me l'ho segnato a maccatura. No. Ok. Vediamo un po'.
It's Rapunzel. The story starts when she's born. Mother Gothel, a witch, takes Rapunzel from her parents and keeps her locked up in this tower. Rapunzel gets pregnant by the prince, and Mother Gothel is furious, so she cuts off her hair and throws it. Actually, her hair's already short here, so that's already happened. But she throws her into the wilderness, and Rapunzel is reunited with the prince, who's blind. But she kills him with her tears, and so it's a happy ending. Is that too much? Yes, like a story. A beginning, a middle, and an end. Did I pass? Sorry, I messed it up with all that Rapunzel stuff. Do you need me to do that card again?
Quale scheda? Quale scheda?
Well, she wasn't my real mother, but she raised me.
Ok, qui sta parlando di Florence, o come si
What is the
chiamava.
story?
Ok, la storia ce l'ha
It's
detta
a real
prima.
life fairy tale.
Ok, la sappiamo molto bene. Stiamo collegando i punti, vediamo. Ah, ok, posso mettere solo sì o no. Ok.
Yeah.
Credo che
We
così
met at
finisca il
school.
gioco.
I worked part-time in the front shop. It was sort of an
Cerchiamo.
extended family thing. My dad used to work there, my mum worked there before I was born. I took care of paperwork, filing, typing out invoices, that kind of thing. It was a good job for a girl back then. I didn't work a till or anything though, I was quite shy, so I wouldn't have liked to have worked a till.
Ok.
No, I was 15, Carl was older,
Ok, ecco
17 I think.
Carl.
I was really into him, regardless of how he actually
Che
behaved.
cosa ha fatto Carl?
Lots of drunken teenage sex. We did it in a church once. It's stupid. So he got tired of us and we split up after about 6 months. It was sad, but those early experiences, they help you realise who's really important to you, you know? Family. Family. So, Carl fucked off, and then there were other boys here and there, and then Simon.
Ah, Simon è arrivato dopo Carl. Ok. Tutti nuovi qua.
I haven't been into work. I guess I've just been waiting to hear from you, hear from my husband.
Ok.
When you suspect someone of murdering their husband. When you suspect someone of murdering their husband.
Ok.
She's crying, I guess. She's sad because she thought she saw her husband with another woman. But it's okay, because she finds out it wasn't her husband, it was his brother. And so it's fine. I thought it made me sound suspicious. It's not a normal thing to do, to drive to the other end of the country. I wanted to keep it simple. I know it was stupid not to tell you everything. Saying I spent the night in Glasgow when my husband went missing, I thought it would, distract you from what was important. It's different now. Now he's...
Non è molto vivo.
It was supposed to be a secret. Just because Simon is dead doesn't mean I have to give up all his secrets. It doesn't have anything to do with what happened to Simon. No one murdered my husband because he cheated his expenses for a romantic weekend in Oxford.
Oh! Perdonatemi, io adesso spancolizzo il mio ordine, ma voglio sapere tutta sta
There was
cosa.
a conference, something to do with double glazing. In Oxford? Are you sure? What would he be doing in Oxford if there was no conference? I remember calling him. He said it was boring and he spent most of the time at the bar. It was supposed to be a secret. Just because Simon is dead.
Non è quello che volevo, però.
I hoover my dust every week. Maybe less. I once asked Eleanor how often I should dust, and she said, if people ask, tell them you do it once a week, but every few weeks is okay. I think she was just trying to make me feel better. I mean, when I was there, she was hoovering every day. Ran an ordered house. You know how that generation is, putting on a brave front. She has secret stashes of cigarettes. Doug doesn't even know she smokes. When I was there, I saw her. She has these sort of porcelain vases, ornamental, next to the Reader's Digest books. Cigarettes inside. And she still has them. I mean, last time I was there, I looked in a vase. There was a fresh pack. I mean, all those years of marriage, and she still has a secret like that.
Adesso continuo. No. Ho messo sigarette tra la... no, ovviamente. Le parole da cercare, ma non... Ah, questo non l'ho scritto. Oh.
Hannah was so smitten with Simon. She started getting jealous, didn't want to share. Even the first date, we went to see Tom Cruise at the Old Odeon. We both went, kept changing places in the toilet. We only had one best dress, so we had to keep swapping clothes. Must have thought we had terrible bladder problems. The next date, it was my turn. At the end, I let him kiss me, but that was it. We didn't want another card on our hands, and the Ouija board had said to hold back. After that, it was Hannah's turn, and she slept with him. Broke the rules. Deliberately broke the rules. She wanted to be the first to sleep with him. I mean, that's when she got pregnant. From that one time.
Mi spiega.
It lasted about 6 months. I tried to carry on, but
Questo era
everything
caldo.
was different. Hannah insisted I not pretend
Oh, no,
to be
okay.
her around Simon, let alone sleep with him. We didn't share him like the others. The rules had changed. Me living in the attic had become weird, in a way it hadn't been before.
Un modo strano di vivere, se posso. Un modo molto particolare. Adesso siamo nell'era dipendenze, vediamo un po'. No, scherzo. Andiamo.
He saw me singing one of my shows. Pure chance. Not sure I remember what he was even doing there. Afterwards, I had a drink at the bar and he came over and we got talking. I knew who he was. Obviously I knew who he was. But he didn't know who I was. He was fascinated by the likeness. He guessed my name from my tattoo. Told me it was a palindrome, like that would impress me. I enjoyed talking to him. It was amazing to be able to sit and interact and talk to him after all this time. He didn't tell me he was married. I'm not sure what he was thinking. He later told me it was like he was dreaming. A waking dream.
Non so bene di chi stia parlando, però. Non ne ho idea. Lei cosa mi dice del coltello? Sentiamo un po' Ivy.
Mother wanted me to grow my hair long, but I kept cutting it myself. I wanted to look like my reflection. She always had short hair when she was little. Mother would hide the scissors, but I would find a way. Cut it with a bread knife, something like that. My reflection would always leave her house and go on adventures, but I never could. Mother taught me at home, and I had books and TV. Oh, TV was magical, but it was only on when it wanted to be, so I spent a lot of time reading books.
È veramente una vita strana, quella che hanno scelto di fare. Sta parola era morto, ok. Non lo so, non capisco
That's all that
bene.
matters, really. The baby. Simon's dead, but the baby, that's how he will live on. Our baby.
E poi ha avuto l'aborto, ma l'ha avuto... Ah, l'aborto è post.
Rehearsed. You ask me the same question, you'll get the same answer. Is that your evidence? Of course I thought about what happened then. It's all I've thought about. My husband is dead.
Per quello lei ha abortito? Perché non voleva crescerlo da sola, quindi ho interpretato male? Possibile. Vediamo un po'.
Oh, my tattoo. I got it to express my individuality. It's an apple and a snake.
Ok. Mi troverò 1000 cose. No, pensavo di più.
No, you're talking to the wrong person if you think I'm some kind of slut. If you think I'm the kind of person that would have had sex with all those guys.
Ok.
I wouldn't say that. It could be passionate. It's just, it was more than that. It wasn't just sex like I had been with the other boys.
Ne manca uno.
Okay, you got me. I'll confess. We were there. It was a dirty weekend. Simon was going to expense it, pretend it was a business trip.
Ok, quello di
I
Oxford.
used a made-up name. We stayed at the hotel, had room service, didn't leave the room, had a great view of the river, and you could hear the church bells. Like you said, it was very romantic.
Come senti? Allora. Qui cosa mi trovi? Niente. 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 Qui è una combo di parole magari per capire. Ecco, ok.
The whole thing was wrong. The bags, I
Però
think they were from our kitchen, you can probably check that.
aspetta.
Never go into the cellar. It's just a place we put things we don't need.
Cantina anche da cercare.
Dad used to grow mushrooms there.
Perché Ivy ha detto che c'era un piano, mettiamola così.
I think it was parcel tape, but
Quindi
I think it was ours.
Sto cercando di unire i puntini. Queste sono... era per la parrucca? No, non mi... Che parola era? Cerco solo gatto. Oh!
No, no cat. My parents had a cat before they died called Domino.
Domino,
It's this
cerchiamo
little
Domino.
black thing with white dots. And we never did anything about the cat flap, but
Gattaiola, ecco che cazzo era.
you could maybe squeeze through it.
Ok.
When we weren't together, we'd send secret messages by tapping out a code that we'd learned from a book, the knock code. Something prisoners of war would use.
Toc.
We tap them out on
Toc e codice.
radiator pipes or the attic floor.
Uè, quello che stava... lo stava facendo Anna nell'altro. Vi cerco io e ve lo faccio vedere. Ok. Cosa vuol dire?
Dad thought we had mice, but they couldn't find any. Bought a cat anyway.
Ed ecco Domino.
We loved our cat, Domino. He had this little bell around his neck to stop him from killing birds in the garden. And we used to write each other notes and put them in the bell, and we could send them to each other.
Campanella.
Mum found some of the notes once, and she thought I was just writing to myself because our handwriting was identical. And we had our own words for things, so she didn't quite understand them anyway.
Ok. Il codice è questo, no? Cioè, aspetta, Eccolo! Ok. Ho fatto un collegamento, sono contento. Bionda l'avevo già cercata. Sì. Gattaiola, ecco che cazzo di parola era. Gattorai.
No, they were shut. Most of the windows were really hard to open anyway. They're stifling in summer. They were painted over by my dad. Could have left a door open accidentally. Or there's a cat flap in the back door.
No, niente. Io ci ho provato. MS... Che cos'era? MST.
I was living in the attic. It was a very
Che
hard
cazzo
time.
è MST?
I was depressed. Was still pretty sick of the STD. And I came down one morning and they were dead.
Ok, ecco il piano.
They were in bed and both had been sick.
Ok, ho capito.
Not. And I'd slept through it. The police said it was the mushrooms they ate. Dad was a mushroom expert. He used to take us picking with him and he taught us how to recognize them.
Un esperto di funghi non muore per avvelenamento a funghi.
There's no way you would have picked dead caps. But the police believe that's what happened. They never even looked in the attic.
%50%, cazzo solo. Perché avrebbero dovuto guardare in... Cucina l'ho già cercato, esatto. Perché avrebbero dovuto guardare... Cosa c'è di sospetto?
Sorry. The picture, the way it's drawn, just Reminded me of the books we used to read as children.
Tanto bisogna
I
di
read
altri
those fairy
post-it.
tales over and over, and they were so real to me. Rapunzel was my favourite. My brain is just full of it.
Userò questo scontrino in
This
realtà.
is colour.
Ok. Cazzo ci ho pagato? Ah sì, l'ho contato mia mamma. Vai.
In the bedroom.
No, non lo uso. Non ho capito questa clip, ma magari era per altro.
That can't be right. In the bedroom.
Ecco, guardatemi, camera da letto insieme. Niente, me li dà... Cerco sulla camera. Ok. Prendo altri post-it. Più o meno mi sto facendo comunque un'idea delle loro vite.
I sleep on the right side of the bed as you come in from the door. You can tell because I have 2 pillows and he just has 1.
Ok, magari può essere importante. Il cuscino. E adesso conosciamo i genitori.
Yeah. I've been round to Doug and Eleanor's and they're very worried. I feel sorry for them. I got a job to contribute, you know. Doug knew someone and I got a job as a dinner lady at the primary school. They said it didn't matter if I could cook or not, just don't poison the kids. So you see, it's always been complicated between me and Simon. It's never just been the 2 of us, there's always been pressure. Yeah. 1984 was an awful year in the end. We were living at Doug and Eleanor's. I lost the baby at the end of spring and my parents died in the summer. It was a hot summer, a heat wave.
Quindi è rimasta incinta più volte?
It was just
Non è possibile.
awful. Because of the circumstances, them dying together like that, they brought in a lot of police. A forensic entomologist. I had to look that up. It was because of the heat. It's just awful.
No. Ok.
Yes. I speak with Eleanor at least once a day. Not that there's anything much to say. It's more just...
Mi è venuto... Voglio sapere. C'è altro? Oh.
No, I'm okay.
Ok. Mi aspettavo altri discorsi così. Allora, multa. Alcune parole temo di averle scritte più volte. Un po'.
You must be desperate for leads if you're getting hung up over 6-month-old speeding tickets.
Cerco indizi. Alcune parole le voglio provare subito senza scriverle. Però non porta a niente. Va bene. Allora, di Calle ne abbiamo sentito parlare, però
Was he
il
my
principio.
first? No need to be so coy. No, he wasn't my first. That would have been Carl. He was a local boy in a band. He was a bit of a shit. But he was sexy. We were 15.
No, allora. Tu 15, lui 17. Se cerco il gruppo, tipo... No. Qui ho scritto scheda. Non so perché. qui scuola, vediamo un po'.
Mum and Dad had never had any reason to notice. They were always busy. If Hannah was eating a lot, they didn't mind. She didn't put on any weight. That girl has a healthy appetite. If they heard us talking in the attic, they just thought it was Hannah playing one of her games, and that Eve was our imaginary friend. Once, she was already up and dressed and ready to go to school, and I snuck down for a piss. Mum saw me in my underwear and she went mad. Get dressed this instant! So I ducked into our bedroom, and seconds later, out came Hannah, dressed and ready. Mum was amazed.
C'è un'altra, ok.
Mum and Dad never knew what was going on. We got so good at it. We were so in sync that we'd use each other to cheat. If one of us had a hangover, the other one would go to school. Whoever was best at a subject would sit the exam. There were lots of differences between us. Some things one is better than the other at.
Voglio provare a cercare. Vediamo cosa trovo.
We were obsessed with fairy tales. Not just the pretty ones, but the traditional ones. They were dark and real, bizarre and violent. Felt like life. We had this huge old book that I think Mum must have bought from a library sale. The illustrations had thin tracing paper over them to protect them. They were in colour, shiny plates. At the front of the book was an index of illustrations. We read that more than the actual stories. We'd read aloud the captions and flip between the pictures. There was something intimate about peeling back the tracing paper, undressing the pictures. Rapunzel's hair was cut. The eagle plucks out his heart. The princess pricks her finger.
Cioè io voglio provare a cercare una cosa, perché mi sembrano... No? Non so come si scrive. Perché mi sembrano abbastanza... Cioè, non voglio cercare l'infomania, però ho capito... C'è? Fuck, sarebbe stato incredibile. Perché mi sembrano molto... entrambe. Più l'alta, più Anna, però... Io timida, niente... Chiesa... Chiesa ha rivelato qualcosa, vai.
Let me see. Yes. I drove in here because I remember well I went over the river. And then there was a church. There. Yeah. And I probably parked... Well, I remember seeing a street sign called Princess Street. There it is. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it must be this one. There.
Princess Street. C'è altro? No, ok, ci ho provato. Aspetta. Mi sa risultati diversi, se... No. C'è col cartello, tipo... Niente, ci ho provato. Dicevo, mi sembrano molto attive sul fronte sessuale, quindi volevo sapere se magari ci fosse qualcosa di più oltre che del semplice gusto, ok? Però a quanto pare no. Cosa manca? Fratello. No, non manca. Bar? Bar. Oh, ce ne so.
Nothing else happened that night. We talked, then I said goodbye. Then next week I was singing the bar again, and there he was. And again the next week, he offered to buy me a meal. I told him I had already eaten, and so we got chips and ate them on the beach instead. When we said goodbye, he asked me to kiss him. Romantic. No. I told her it was one of my boyfriends, someone I had met in the bar. I think she was happy. But I could tell she was thinking, why couldn't it happen to her and Simon? They were the ones with the real life. Why not them?
Non è quello in cui spero, ma va bene.
Really? You're going to ask me about my sex life? I mean, isn't that private? Are you married? How is your sex life?
Beh, a sto punto va cercato. Vediamo... No, niente. Allora. Sta avendo un... Tradita. Tradito. Oh!
No, I have never been unfaithful. I've never cheated on Simon. Have I ever cheated on Simon? You asked that question yesterday. Simon was very moral about that sort of thing. He wouldn't just walk out there and sleep with anyone. He wasn't that kind of guy. He took his marriage very seriously. Simon never cheated on me. He was devoted to me, and I was devoted to him. Nothing in life is easy. We were good to each other. Life isn't a fairy tale. You do what you can.
Bisogna un attimo...
Simon.
Non credo, però esatto. Quali simili? No. Se cerco scoperta? No. Sapeva? No. Non so bene come... Oh, aspetta. Non è quello che volevo. Non so bene come cercare quello che
Like I
voglio.
said, I think I was popping out to get something, ran out of something,
Okay.
had to grab something. I sometimes drive too fast. If you want, you can arrest me for that.
Mamma è molto strana, capito? Non... Anello? Cosa mi dice?
No. No, he wasn't wearing his wedding ring.
Oibò? Ah, non l'ho cercato. Incredibile. Ah, ok.
Twins? Really? Are you really asking me that question?
Quindi...
Are you out of your mind? Twins?
Quindi lei la nasconde.
There were always princes and princesses. They were the special people, more important than the
Ora mi è
other
più
characters in their
chiaro.
stories. We knew we were like that. Twins. Magical. We were the princesses. We had a poster of Princess Diana from the newspaper up in our attic. Had a pride of place. And underneath we used to put all our special things. When her engagement was announced, we were obsessed with everything she did. And later, when her life went so bad, we felt for her. Her divorce last year just kind of drew a line under things.
Aspetta, bisogna un attimo di...
There were always princes and princesses. We were the princes.
Ah, principessa Diana. No, aspetta un attimo, ho letto male. C'è altro su... Lady? No. Ma... Ok, no, pensavo magari ne avesse parlato con Simon, tipo. Continuo col mio elenco. No. Poi magari tipo fumo. Fuma. Fumava. Veia. Fumava. No. C'è così? No. No. Volevo una cosa... Allora, mi è eliminato la tavola Ouija. L'avete usata? Ok.
When beautiful people died, we always felt like it was a sign. You remember Princess Grace? Grace Kelly? She died in a car crash the year before we met Simon. We used a Ouija board to speak to her, and that gave us the power to find him. That's what we thought then. That people who died tragically leave some kind of magic behind. We used to share dreams. We used to wake up and write them down in our diaries immediately and compare them.
Ok, ce l'ho sogni nella lista tra l'altro, quindi è il successivo, vediamo un attimo. No. Niente? Vediamo un po'.
Yes. The first time we saw each other, it was strange. We both realised at the same moment, I think. We must have seen each other before, but there was this instant when we first realised it wasn't a reflection. The reflection was staring back. I think I was 5. It was my birthday. My reflection was wearing a party hat and waving. I knew what party hats were from books. And it suddenly occurred to me, today must be my birthday. I waved back and we just spent ages waving at each other and copying each other's movements.
Cioè, la butto lì? No. Cerchiamo. Ok.
And the Glaziers. I worked there some weekends and Simon had a part-time job there too. That was Eric's generosity. He was always good at helping out other people's children. Simon was quiet, more thoughtful than the other boys. Even then, he had a sense of craftsmanship. Wasn't always rushing stuff. Boys that age are just running around like headless chickens most of the time. Yeah. Plus, he had that look. He looked like a fairy tale prince from one of my books.
Qualcosa? Eccolo.
I wanted to see my reflection. I thought that if I touched her, something would happen. We would become one. One girl. The fairy tale was over, the witch was dead, and I'd be restored to my rightful place.
Non è che c'è altro di metafora, no. Qui sono un paio di parole. Non vi dico a cazzo, però vediamo se c'è qualcosa. No. Hotel mi devi raccontare. Ecco, 3 secondi.
And the hotel said he was there? Ok, you got me.
Ok, il weekend, sì. Deve cosa week? Niente. Settimana? Banalmente? Ok.
The
Vediamo
legal
un
stuff
po'.
was completed very quickly. Hannah moved back in with Simon. Eric gave Simon the week off to help with the move. He decorated, modernised wallpaper curtains. Hannah insists the attic be left as it was, dollhouse and all. Simon never went up there.
Solo lui? Cioè, solo lei? Curiosità. Ok. Ci sono altre zone della casa? Esatto, la cantina.
Well, fine, considering. I got back into the house today, and that was weird, knowing your people have been there through my things. It's like I've been burgled. I mean, worse, obviously. I don't know. I haven't looked in the cellar yet. They sent a cleaner in. As good as new, he said. But they had to throw some stuff out. Couldn't get the blood out. And I'm still waiting to hear from the coroner so we can get a date set for the funeral. It's going to be a cremation. So, yes, it was a cremation for the best. We both wore black and had veils, so it was easy. And after the funeral, everyone came back to the house. Hannah served up sandwiches, and I stayed out of sight.
Voglio... Ehi, vediamo... C'è altro sul gatto? No. Codice. Cos'è questo? Campanello. No? Ah, campanellina. No. Campanellino? Non lo so. Devo solo scrivere nota io. Ti prego. Ok. No. Vediamo. No. C'è altro? Io me la tento. Ok. Vediamo un po'.
Suicide? No. I mean, he would never do anything like that. He is not the kind of person to do anything like that. I mean, to hurt himself? No.
C'era gola. Vediamo un po'.
On his throat. How? Like I said before, it was 3, something like that. I walked in, saw Simon. He was on the floor of the living room.
Ah, lei l'ha visto. Oh,
His
ok.
throat had been cut. There was a lot of blood. Yeah, he was dead. Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. They talked. She'd enjoyed being me. He said He wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present. Another mirror. Just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open. She'd only meant to scare him off.
Oi, boh!